Good morning. Welcome to Unity Longmont Spiritual Center on the 5th of December 2021. It is the second Sunday of Advent, and during this season we celebrate joy, love, hope, and peace. And today we are blessed to have Jenny Hooks as our speaker and Connie Schaefer and Clint Brown to provide us with music. So we'll start with the music, please.
Spirit of light, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of light, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of light, come to me, come to me.
Thank you, Connie and Clint. It's at this time that we go into prayer by taking a breath together. Beloved presence, everywhere present. We focus on spirit in this moment. The spirit that infuses each of us with light, life, love, hope, joy, peace. We're aware that we participate in the creation of these states of being, that by cultivating them within ourselves, we share that. And we have an effect on our world, close and near. And for that, we are joyous and grateful. And so it is. We'll have more music, please.
So during the holidays, I tend to think back some to when I was younger, back through the seasons of my youth, as Dolly Parton said, and get a little bit nostalgic. And this song came to mind, Coat of Many Colors. And I remember my grandmother who was a single parent after she lost her husband, and during the Great Depression to three boys, sewing a coat for somebody or something for one of her children out of scrap material or something. So that's kind of the theme of this. Those who are having a hard time struggling through these years, these months. Back through the years, I go wandering once again. Back to the seasons of my youth. I recall recall a box of rags someone gave us. How my mama put those rags to use. There were rags of many colors. Every piece was small, and I didn't have a coat. It was way down in the fall. Mama sewed the rags together. She sewed every piece with love, made my coat in many colors. I'm so proud. My coat of many colors, my mama made for me. Made from only rags, but I wore it so proud. Although we had no money, we were rich as I could be. In my coat of many colors, my mama made for me. Sewed with patches on my breeches, holes in both my shins. In my coat of many colors, I hurried off to school just to find the others laughing, making fun of me. In my coat of many colors, my mama made for me. They didn't understand it, and I tried to make them see. One is only poor, only if you choose to be. Now I know we had no money, I was rich as I could be. In my coat of many colors, my mama made for me. My coat of many colors, my mama made just for me.
Thank you, Clint. What a beautiful image. So at this time, we welcome Jenny with our open hearts and our open minds for her message.
Good morning, Jai Guru Dev. I honor the divine, the light within you. So I went to Mexico for a week and I attended a 5 elements retreat a couple of weeks ago. And I always love when the talks are clear and I don't have to think about it too much. The message just comes through. One of my favorite talks a while ago was, Jesus is not a washing machine. You don't just get saved once and then you're done. So the talk, in one of the talks, the speaker started out with, God and Guru is not a life coach. And went on to say that God is not really here to make your life better. And the example, the analogy that was given, it just still makes me giggle when I think about it. So you're in prison and you can't get out. You don't have the keys. So would you pray to God for an interior decorator, a better pillow? Or would you pray for freedom? And so often we are imprisoned by our thoughts and our ignorance and our desires. And then we pray to God for a bigger house, a new car, something in the material world that will give us momentary comfort, but misses the whole point of why we're here in this lifetime, to attain God. So I just still giggle at, looking back at things that I prayed for and asked for, and my own confusion in life, thinking that while trapped in the prison of my mind. I probably did ask for an interior decorator along the way. So, but what we really want, our soul really desires. I don't know what my mind desires, everything, and gets me all messed up. But what my soul desires is to connect with the divine, to see the divine in everyone and everything. And so this is such a good season to talk about light, because it's a season when all faiths and culture are responding to the planetary changes, the shorter days, the darkness. And so how do we respond? We light the menorah. We put lights on a Christmas tree. We bring something green and fresh into our homes, and then we light it. There are bonfires for the solstice. And for the solstice, a celebration of the shortest day of the year, but we're not celebrating the darkness. We're celebrating the birth of light, knowing that each day going forward will bring more light. Muslims refer to light in their religion, and they use the analogy of a lamp to light the darkness. And in Christianity at this time of year, we light the Advent candles. And so light is a universal truth. It encompasses all cultures and all religion. And I love in Judaism the message of light. The Festival of Light teaches us not to curse the darkness, but to light the candle to dispel the darkness. And I just really paused when I read that, because how often we curse the darkness. And yet what we are called to do is to be that light, to bring ourselves in service and in love and in light, to bring light to the darkness, not to dispel it, not to make it go away, not to crush it. Hanukkah is about the spark of the divine within. So thinking about all this light, what do we do? How do we be the light in the world? So being the light in the world is not fixing things. And for those of us that are caregivers, we may think being the light is going out and buying a gift for someone. And maybe it is, but it's more than that. And yet it's so much simpler. It's, as Davis said in the prayer, it's our presence of just being there in the moment. And when we sink into our hearts and we see the divine within us, and we radiate with our divinity, with the light of God within us, then we may react, we may do something, but it is from that space of our light that we know how to respond to any situation, to any time, any place. We can be the light, and it's just that simple. And of course, many of us make it complicated, thinking, what do I need to do? What do I need to change? What do I need to fix? But before we can do any of that, we need to be in touch with our divinity so that we can be the candle, we can be the lamp, we can be the radiance that calms the energy in the room by just being in touch with our divinity. So I want to read to you from my favorite book. And this morning I came across something and it just made me love this book even more. Because the Bhagavad Gita is said to be Mahalakshmi. who is also Mother Earth. And I have such a deep connection with Mother Earth. And I thought, well, no wonder I love this book so much. It's the same. Oh, got to go back to, there we go. So this is chapter 15, verse 12. The light of the sun that illuminates all this world, that which is the moon and in fire, know that light to be me. Here Bhagavan Krishna says to Arjuna, I am the super light which illuminates the sun itself. I am the super light which beams everywhere through different lights in different frequencies. I shine in the moon, I shine in the fire, I shine in the light here in this room. I shine everywhere. He is the ultimate, and everything else is just his effulgence. It is his light that appears in all existence. An analogy would be looking into many pots filled with water. If the sun is risen, you see the reflection of the sun. In this way, the Lord reflects throughout his creation in different bodies, different creatures, and this radiant light, the Supreme himself, always stays. All is just his reflection. And God himself is above all. And all of his own light manifesting in different aspects. It is his light that enables the mind to think. His light enables the senses to act. The same light enables the demigods to go and do their duty. He's not touched by anything. That is why it is said, when the yogi realizes the state of unity with him, he starts to become like him, to shine like him, to manifest like him without limitation. This is what God realized ones attain. God realization is not just about sitting in samadhi, sitting in silence. Don't think that the yogi sits constantly under a tree doing nothing. He walks around, he sits when he has to sit, but everything he does is in a state of complete absorption. Absorption in God. There is nothing that he perceives as being separate from him. That's why it is said that if you think of the Lord, he is here next to you. If you call Babaji, he will be here next to you because there is no difference. There is always a deep connection within you, inside of you. Bhagavan says that for the realized one, in everything they see around, they perceive the same divinity that they perceive inside of themselves. And in chapter 15, verse 15, Krishna goes on to say, and I am located in the hearts of all. From me comes memory, knowledge, and their absence also. Indeed, I am that which is to be known from all the Vedas. I bring about the fruition of the rituals of the Vedas, and I am alone am the knower of the Vedas. And from that verse, the most beautiful line for me is, and I am located in the hearts of all. Which, there is this, I was running late, but close to on time, and I was driving to get on Highway I-25 yesterday in Berthoud. And just as I was approaching the intersection to get on the freeway, there's a gas station. And this big truck with 16 cars on it that's all lined up pulls out in front of me. So I have to brake, and then it travels about 10 miles an hour around the corner onto the entrance ramp to the freeway, slowing me down. And I thought, something probably not very nice that I don't need to mention here. And then I thought, the divine resides in the heart of all. So I blessed him, because what else could I do? And so to have this awareness in my mind that God resides in the hearts of all, whether they're the people who irritate and frustrate me, or the ones that bring me comfort, God is there. I couldn't see light radiating from this truck driver, but that is my goal, to see the divine within everyone. And there's another verse in the Bhagavad Gita where it talks about what it's like to see that way, to recognize the divine within you, and to see rays of light coming from birds and flowers and trees and people everywhere. I would love to, even for a day, a moment, have a glimpse of what that's like, to see the world radiating in light, no matter what's going on with COVID or climate change or anything else in the world. I mean, I'm in awe just imagining what that might be like, to see the world that way, to be so connected to the divine that the only thing I see is the divine. After preparing for this talk, I had this image of my Atma being more like that of a mirror. And yet, what I know to be true for most of us in this world is that that mirror is covered with layers of grime, shame, guilt, whatever it is, from many lifetimes. And so having this image of sitting in meditation and having divine Windex, cleaning that mirror and removing layer after layer. And I understand now that if it were to happen all at once, I probably would collapse. Like, I wouldn't know how to respond. And that this journey that we're on in this human body, we take away layers upon layer upon layer until we're ready to be that divine light and to live in the world, not in a monastery, not in a cave, but to walk into the world with our full radiant light shining for all to see. You know, we have these senses, our eyes and our ears, touch, and honestly, they give a lot of misinformation. So I hear my neighbors arguing. I can imagine that it's domestic violence. I can, Katie, Byron Katie has many funny stories of how, she overheard a conversation in the bathroom and blah, 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 blah. And none of it was true, how we imagine things to be. So how do we make our senses work for us? It's through meditation. It's through starting the day, offering the day to the divine. It's through humility, because we know we see things, and who interprets? Our ego, first in line to have a judgment about something. So when we start our day and we ask to remain humble, And we ask to be of service. And we ask to see the divine within ourselves and each other. We have a much better shot at it, of having the senses be in control, or being controlled or ruled over by the heart, by the divine, versus when we hop out of bed and drink our coffee, get ready for the day and rush around. It's a bigger challenge to see the divine without taking that few moments of silence. And then what do we do at the end of the day with our meditation? We do our spiritual practice, and then we take a look at the day. What did I do today that was helpful, that was useful on my spiritual journey? It's not about beating ourselves up. I should have done that. I should have done this. It's looking, what was useful? What do I want to do more of? What wasn't so useful? Where did I fall into the trap? Somebody started gossiping and I jumped right in there with them. Because the more that we're aware of our patterns, of our strengths, the more we're able to say, I got to really pay attention to that. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to fall into the trap of negativity, of gossip. And that's where I get stuck in the world, is somebody tells me a story or whatever's going on in their life. And in that moment, I need to say, may we see only the divine within ourselves and each other. Ask for help and guidance from the divine so that I become the light, that I can take the candle within me and extend it to you and build your flame. Whereas if I say, I know it, that makes me so mad, blah, 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 blah. Now we have two negative people. So this practice of reflecting on our day at the end of the day and acknowledging our strengths. I don't want to just focus on my weakness. That's not going to lead me to positivity. I'm sure of it. But if I can focus on both, and I can say, I'm really tired. Like I'm feeling a weariness. Where is that weariness coming from? And what do I need to do? If I want to continue to be that light, do I need to take a hike or paint a picture or dust my house, whatever it is, listen to music, but noticing and paying attention to the patterns in our lives so that we can train our senses to be useful to us in our soul's highest goal, to attain the Lord. And, you know, there are still nuns that live in convents and pray and don't speak, and that may be their path, but it is very clear to me that my path is to be present in the world and to bring as much light as I can to the world through my meditation, through the earth meditation, by chanting the name of God. So just as we train our senses because of this life, we're also training them for the next life. So when we're on our deathbed, the Hindu faith says if your focus is on God, you will bypass the cycle of birth and death and go to Vaikuntha, or the permanent heaven. But I recently learned that when we're seeing that light and we're seeing that tunnel and we're moving through the tunnel, just like in the world, There might be a Mercedes Benz. There might be a relationship where I'm still mad at somebody and I want to take a break so I can give them a piece of my mind, or whatever it is. I don't know what would be in the tunnel, but we can be distracted even after our heart stops beating and we're leaving our physical form. So if we're chanting the name of God at the time of our death, all of those distractions disappear. But how are we going to remember to chant the name of God at the moment of death? By chanting it as we live. And I laugh because I've had some strange medical procedures and more dentistry. I feel like I've had enough dentistry for 3 lifetimes in this one. And it is the place where I start chanting the day before, just thinking about going to the dentist. And I chant, and I still have my dentist in Niwot, which is a little bit of drive from Berthoud. And I chant all the way there, and I'm silently chanting the entire time. Because I really don't like the dentist. I like the person who is my dentist, but the whole experience is my least favorite. And it's interesting to me that when things are going well, I'm caught up at work, my house is clean, everything is going well. That's not when I chant the name of God. And it's so very curious to me. And I have to, as I look through my day and I think, oh, I had a great day. Oh, was it really such a great day if you forgot about God? If you forgot to be the light for those around you, just because nothing went wrong, I didn't get a big bill, my kids didn't call with some crisis. So, and it takes me back to that statement that the Jewish faith about we're not here to dispel the darkness, but to be the light in the darkness. And so is it a good day if I got to be the light in the world for other people, even though I didn't trip and break my ankle or something bad didn't happen? How do we define good and bad? And as we go through this process of self-examination on a daily basis, sometimes those definitions, I guess, change or get adjusted. So along the theme of all the religions and light, Hafiz, I mean, what a sense of humor this guy has. Wild, hilarious miracle. So I often put up my hands to shield my eyes from you. Wild, hilarious miracles. Your light shines through my bones. And I don't know this person. I've seen this name before. Shakti Gawain about light says, the more light you allow within you, the brighter the world you live in will be. And A Course in Miracles says, forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. And one of my very favorites, also by Hafiz, I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. And so it is. So do we do a song here or do we go right to meditation?
We would love a meditation with you, please.
Okay. Take a couple of deep breaths. And with each breath, see the light within your heart. Each breath fans the flames and allows the light to grow and to radiate. See the light expanding. If it feels right to you, see a form of the divine within you. Jesus, Mary, Babaji. And place your hands over your heart to receive that love and light. And ask your hands if they are willing to allow this love and light to guide your sense of touch today. Remove your hands from your heart and see that they are radiating light and love, and place them over your eyes. And to ask your eyes if they are willing to see only the divine light in the world today. And place your hands over your ears. And ask your ears to hear only love and only light. And place your hands over your mouth and ask your mouth and your throat and your voice to speak with only love today. Know that this love and this light within you is not limited by the bounds of your body. Know that when you are in this space, aware of your own divinity, that the ether around you is transformed. Know that you are the light of the world. Keeping your eyes closed, bring your awareness back to the room. You can place your hands at your side. And ask the divine to guide you, to guide all of your senses today. Your mind will want to overrule your heart's truest desire. Be clear in your intention. To trust your heart. And so it is.
Jenny, thank you for the precious reminder of who we are and what is ours to do, and for sharing your own journey. So it's at this time that we will hear another piece of music, please.
This song draws a comparison between riding in a boat in the ocean or riding our planet throughout the solar system. I'm always thinking of this one video that I saw of an astronaut. She was looking out the window of the spaceship she was in, and you can see her and the window she's looking at, and she's seeing the planet Earth, and she realizes that's home, and there's only one of them, and we better take care of it. So here it goes.
Blue Boat Home. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor nor port have I known. Wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Thank you, Connie and Clint. Thank you. It's at this time that we go into our donation of love and light. And as we do so, let us remember our mission statement, which Connie, Clint, and Jenny touched upon today. We experience deep spiritual truths by courageously acknowledging God in all. So taking a breath together and placing our hands on our heart, let us each become increasingly aware of the love and the light within us. Always there, always reliable. And take a breath and a moment to experience the majesty of that. And notice how naturally it begins to expand and to be shared. We're not responsible for how that love and light impacts another. We're merely responsible for knowing it within us and sharing it. And as we go through our day to day, let us remember that joy that we have and can share. And so it is. And we will finish with music, please.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace.